Ladies and gentlemen, please listen closely. You never argued. You never begged to be understood. You never wasted breath trying to convince people who were committed to misunderstanding you. You just moved different, and that's what broke them. They expected you to fight. They expected you to defend yourself. They wanted the noise. But you gave them silence, you gave them change, you gave them distance. And silence is a weapon sharper than words. If this is your first time here, I want you to subscribe right now, like this video, drop a comment and tell me you are ready to move different from this day forward. To those of you who return here again and again, I thank you. Your loyalty is fuel. Your presence is proof that warriors don't walk alone. Listen, when you argue, you give energy away. When you try to explain yourself, you hand over control. But when you move different, you flip the entire battlefield. Because movement speaks louder than words. Transformation screams louder than debate. Success silences every critic without a sound. Look at Muhammad Ali. When they mocked him, doubted him, ridiculed his style, he didn't waste energy on arguments. He just moved different. He trained harder. He fought smarter. And every time he won, his fists did the talking. History doesn't remember the critics. History remembers the man who moved different. People wanted you to argue. They wanted you trapped in circles of explanations. But you broke the circle. You stepped out. You built. You changed. And in your silence, you became untouchable. This is psychology. The more you explain, the less people listen. The more you defend, the more they attack. Because people don't argue to understand, they argue to win. So you stopped playing their game. You chose silence. You chose action. You chose movement. And that choice rewired your entire life. Remember Michael Jordan? When he was cut from his high school team, he didn't argue with his coach. He didn't cry about being misunderstood. He just moved different. He went to work. He trained in silence. And years later, that same coach had to live with regret, watching Jordan rise to become the greatest of all time. Your silence is not weakness. Your movement is not avoidance. Your decision to stop arguing is strategy. It is the art of control. I want you to feel this in your bones. The moment you stop explaining yourself is the moment you reclaim your power. The moment you stop arguing with people who don't care is the moment you start building for people who do. The moment you stop chasing validation is the moment you begin walking in true purpose. That is when they fear you, not when you shout, not when you scream, but when you move different. Halfway through this, I remind you again, subscribe, like this video, comment the words, I move different, because that is your declaration, that is your identity. Look at Nelson Mandela, 27 years in prison. He didn't waste his life in arguments with his oppressors. He didn't waste time trying to convince them of his humanity. He endured, he transformed. And when he walked free, the whole world listened because he moved different. This is how you win. You don't win by fighting noise with noise. You win by going silent, going inward, going higher. Psychology calls it the law of detachment. When you detach, you stop feeding energy into conflict. You starve the drama, and when you starve the drama, it dies. But you keep growing, you keep rising. This is why your enemies talk more than you, because you stopped responding. And when you stopped responding, they had to keep talking to themselves. You want real revenge? It's not in words. It's in moving different. It's in showing up years later, unrecognizable. It's in rising to heights so far above that their opinions sound like whispers you can't even hear anymore. Remember Oprah Winfrey, told she wasn't fit for television, mocked for her appearance, dismissed. She didn't argue with executives. She didn't fight with critics. She just moved different. She built her empire. And those same voices who doubted her now echo with regret. The message is simple. Stop arguing. Stop wasting time trying to prove your worth. Stop explaining your vision to small minds. Just move different. Because one day your silence will speak louder than every word you could have ever said. One day, your success will stand taller than every argument you could have fought. And one day, the same people who misunderstood you will regret underestimating you. The war is not fought with arguments. The war is won with movement. Your silence is strategy. Your discipline is the battlefield. Your growth is the victory. So when they look at you and wonder why you never argued, let them wonder. When they whisper about you, let them whisper. When they try to drag you back into noise, stay still. Because you are not who you were. You never argued. You just moved different. And in the end, movement always wins.